You have another question on celebrating wins. The brand story of my advocacy is anti-heroic. We are trying to reframe a harmful narrative for a marginalized community that is misunderstood and misrepresented in media and general discourse. And your concern is that celebrating wins comes at an unexpected cost or tax to the uninformed public in a zero sum scarcity mindset of compassion and cognitive effort. Okay, let's see. Jeff, I just want to be sure when you say anti heroic, your advocacy is centered around making sure that you are not the hero of the story. Is that right?
Uh, that's not the intention, but it's the reality is that in order to move, I think the context is worth mentioning, but in order to move the needle, um, basically I'm asking people that are stigmatizing us to give way, and then to claim that they're stigmatizing us when they mean well is like a kind of consumer education. I come from the private sector, it's like
Mm-hmm.
educate the consumer. But like I don't, if it were me, like I don't want to be told that I'm causing harm to people with mental illnesses by,
Yeah.
and I don't want to feel attacked or defensive. So it's like how to
Mm-hmm.
motivate people that don't know the harm. For example, with the R word and the campaign about that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or for example, the trans community, like,
Mm-hmm.
some of that flight, but is all of that play needs to be heard, I feel like, and it's valid, but it doesn't really encourage people to participate or motivated to cheer for us over them, because it's requiring a change in mentality and effort that people really resist. So
Mm-hmm.
our community, my community is different. I represent a lot of people like I am, and I also advocate for rights for people with bipolar disorder, and it ends up becoming problematic even in the community, my approach, because I'm pro stigma. And that is kind of like, well, who is this guy? Who does he think he is? I was like, no, I don't want the narrative around this condition to be what it is, to be defined by others. It should be defined by us. And
Mm-hmm.
that brand is what I mean to say is like this idea as being a pro stigma bipolar advocate, like be more bipolar. Why aren't there bipolar hiring events?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it there? That sort of energy is like, woo, we don't want any of that here. So how do I cheer about the progress that I make if it means it scares people,
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you want to do is start looking for who are the people who are celebrating wins, who are doing something similar to what you're doing, right? Nobody's doing exactly what you're doing, but there are a lot of people who are doing something similar, or parts of what they're doing is similar to parts of what you're doing. And for that, I would say, if you look at them, what do they celebrate? And how do they celebrate it?
Yeah.
How are they celebrating it?
I
So
really don't even
that,
know. That's a good one. Yeah.
yeah. So I would say start looking because it's easy to make an assumption that, well, they're not doing it. But if you say, well, somebody's got to be, how many billions of people are on this planet, right? Someone is doing this. Let me go find them, even if it's only five examples. Let me
Hmm.
collect five examples. And then you'll start to see something that opens it up for you,
Yeah.
right? We have one of our counsel who works on patent matters is our special counsel, Ed Ergenzinger, is very open about being bipolar.
Hmm.
And he speaks on panels, he teaches, he talks very candidly about his experience with it. And I mean, for me, uh, it was, it was this just, I wouldn't say it didn't factor in. It, to me, it's not a negative, right? It's not a negative. And because to say it doesn't factor in is lying, right? I have to consider who the people are at my firm, but I don't consider it to be a negative at all. It is one part of who he is, and like everything, almost with our characteristics, almost sometimes there's just no upside. But like almost everything about our characteristics, they bring um, parts of it where you've got to learn how to deal with it, and parts of it where it's like this glorious contribution, right?
Yeah. Diversity is
Um,
advantage, and that's, I think, a pretty important,
yeah. I
anthem.
know another person who is bipolar who doesn't really refer to it that way. I think he uses different terminology. Part of it is because he's based in the EU, and part of it is because that's just the way he views it. But he sees it as multi-potential, multi-potentialite. He coined a phrase for it because he views it as as operating on a different level than what people are used to and what people are feel safe to tap into. That's how he sees it. So what I think you have to do is start finding the people who are already there or somewhat there in parts of what you want to do and see how they celebrate it, because they do exist. But it's very
Yeah.
easy to be in the mainstream,
Mhm.
and which to be in the mainstream and feel like what the mainstream is saying is true. And that's exactly what you're not. So this is also an exercise in showing up in the way that you want others to show up around this topic.
Yeah, that's a big one too, because with being an anti-hero, you seem like a villain, you know, to some people. And it's the villain can't, people don't want to cheer for the villain. That's what I learned from Donald Miller's Build a Story Brand and Story Branding. I don't know which one it was.
Yeah.
But that's you nailed it. So I will look for more examples. It's just hard because like the narrative is let's end the stigma. And I'm like, absolutely not. Don't erase what so many of us have overcome or fallen victim to, and act like
Well,
it's as easy as it is for someone with, autism to be accepted or OCD or whatever.
bucking the conventional terminology could be what sets you apart and makes the name for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wouldn't see that as a negative. That could become your branding. The fact that
That's
you
what has
are
been.
telling
Yeah.
people to think about
Yeah.
how they refer to this and getting them to change it.
That's exactly what I'm up to. So it's nice to see that you see it. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to connect with Sebastian. You're going to talk to him. Great. And then hopefully we'll end up talking as well. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Anna, I'm so sorry. All right. I'm going to leave it to you to wrap it up.
Okay, perfect. Well, I want to thank everyone for attending. Betsy had to leave, but I think this was a great session. Like Lenore said, hopefully the sessions in the future are going to be a bit more interactive. That's something that we definitely want to implement. And thank you again for joining. I think everything went great, and please consider signing up for future sessions as well. Okay, thank you, everyone. Goodbye.